This is day one on the CT for me and Indy.
Just a dog on the Colorado Trail. This summer, me and my 3-year-old Great Pyrenees mix Indy attempted to hike 567 miles on the Colorado Trail. We'd start in Denver and walk to our home in Durango, including both sides of the collegiate loop just for fun. We've spent countless long days in the mountains, nights in tents, and miles with packs on, but this was both of our first through hikes. After training all winter Nordic skiing and mountain biking in the spring together, we started our hike on July 10th at 3 p.m. We planned to average about 15 miles a day till Breckenridge, 20 miles till Twin Lakes, and then 25 miles a day till the terminus. Day one was a simple, easy, and stunning 12 miles with plenty of water for Indy along the trail and at camp next to South Platte River. We left camp around 5:30 the next morning to get through our first 10-mile water carry. The exposed burn area was gorgeous, but that much sun in the heat of the day would be dangerous for Indy. Thankfully, we made it to the fire station by 10 a.m. and Indy took his first nap on the CT. I expected him to need a nap at lunch every day based off of how our backpacking trips normally go, but day 2 of our hike was day 1 of a heat dome that lingered over Colorado and sent temps skyrocketing. Hiking past the fire station was more like crawling. I used my umbrella to shade him almost daily, and the running joke between through hikers was, "How many naps has it been since we last saw you?" Sometimes every quarter mile. He'd find shade and rest until he felt energized enough to keep going. It was brutal. I knew higher Alpine terrain ahead of us would bring the temperatures Indy thrives in lingering snow too. We just needed to make it there. We started hiking daily at 4:30 in the morning, trying to get 10 or 15 miles in before the heat hit. I would pick a perfect rest spot next to water, shaded, flat, but more often than not, the heat came early and he stopped wherever he needed. When he emerged from his slumber, we'd walk until we were ready for bed. The system was working well for a few days, but it only really gave me like 5 hours of sleep a night, and the disappointment of getting into camp when everyone else was crawling into their sleeping bags. But his smile, his happy little walk down the trail, it made it all worth it. Great Pyrenees are stubborn and emotional,
and you cannot make them do what they don't want to do. So I tried to get Indy to move after like an hour of that nap, and he opened his eyes, gave me a look, and I was like, nope, just waiting another hour. And I was just getting antsy because I knew at that point it was already noon and we were entering the hottest part of the day, and it was only going to get worse. So we walked. I took his pack after 3 hours, and we walked very slowly for the rest of the day, which is okay. Trying to give him, that's what we're doing right now, trying to give him a little active recovery without the pack, with plenty of mushers on his paws, and just easing into the trail. What was that? Can we turn your light off? There's a bird. Indy. He's distracted by bird calls.
My first big mistake came at Kenosha Pass. We hitched a ride into town to grab a box from the Jefferson post office, only to find it officially closed in August of last year. My box was lost to the universe. Me and Indy were missing 2 days of food to get us to Breckenridge. We both settled with a jar of peanut butter from the hiker box and snacks fellow hikers were generous enough to share with me. We had to kick our miles up in order to not just eat, but also get our next resupply before Breckenridge post office was closed for the weekend. Georgia Pass was a magical morning. Indy got his first snow of the trail. We laughed and played and ate peanut butter. Then a few miles down, Indy laid down for a nap.
He's struggling really hard with the heat today. It just took us 4 hours to walk a quarter mile so that we could be next to water, so that I could have water, so that he could have water. I just really hope this heat wave breaks soon, because I just don't know what to do. And I just feel conflicted and shitty. I don't want him to leave the trail because I don't have anywhere to send him. And he's doing really good. He's having so much fun. and he's like kicking my butt, doing great in the mornings, and then the heat hits and he just lays down and doesn't get back up for 6 or 7 hours. And there's never anywhere for me to set up a tent or hang out, and it's draining me. I'm so sunburned. And I don't have water, and he doesn't have water. But we just have to keep on walking.
I tried to get him to finish the 13 miles to our planned site, the 100-mile mark, but we passed some trail friends just past the creek, and Indy refused to move. So we set up a tent with a trio of section hikers and went to sleep at 7 p.m. A 1:30 a.m. wake-up call and 13 miles in the dark to one of the most beautiful sunrises on the trail. Once we got into Breckenridge, a trail angel named Butters gave me, Indy, and our new trail friend Nady a hitch to the post office. We grabbed our fresh box of human food and dehydrated kibble and went to a coffee shop to just decompress a little bit. The pavement in town was scorching, so me and Indy hopped on the free bus to the pet store in Frisco to find a pair of booties to protect his paws. But this was kind of the nail in the coffin for Indy's through hike. Indy had to come with me, which involved walking on scorching pavement. There was no way around it, even with constant stops to cool off in the river in town. We hopped back on a bus at 9:45 p.m. out to the trail, 4 miles to camp on the side of a hill, and by the time we crawled into our tent, his paws were cracked. I felt paralyzed. I applied mushers like I did every morning, decided to drop our mileage back down to 15 miles a day to Twin Lakes, and thankfully we hit snow. The section between Breckenridge and Copper Mountain was just what we needed after the previous day. Our trail friends were all slack packing, so after feeling utterly alone the day prior, I got to catch up and feel so supported by my trail family. Indy got all the scratches and love, and we stopped at every single snow patch for him to have a ball. The next few days were perfect. There were snow to cool off, shady meadows for midday naps, and little lakes for swimming. I wish the whole trail could have been like this. But as we approached Leadville, he was still hobbling. I applied mushers 4 times a day as usual, cleaned the cracks in his paws every night, and put his boots on when the ground was toasty or rough. I didn't know what to do. I wanted this so badly. Indy loved being out there. I loved having him with me. I didn't have anyone I knew who could watch him, and having subleased my apartment, I didn't have anywhere we could live until mid-August. I sent texts when I found a single bar of cell service, and by the time we reached Twin Lakes, 175 miles into our hike, I had found a friend in Leadville to take him for a week, while I completed the collegiate loop. Just a week, I told myself and him. And then his paws would be healed, and we would finish the remainder of the trail together. But 7 days later, I looked at my sweet boy, still hobbling, the cracks just barely closing. I took my only 0 day with him in Salida, texted everyone I knew, and made a game plan for his care while I finished the CT alone.
Hey, slow down.
I don't regret trying to hike with him. I'm honestly thinking about a PCT attempt together, but after talking to a few others with dogs on the trail, most of which were also sent home before Twin Lakes, I would have needed a lot more time in that heat, a lot less miles a day, and a lot more food in our packs. He didn't make it to the end, but honestly, I don't care. I've never been prouder of him.